This Week in Connecticut with Dennis House starts now.
Welcome to This Week in Connecticut. Greetings, everyone. I'm Dennis House. Here's a question to think about that some are asking. How old is too old to be an elected official? 70, 75, 80? We have results of a poll of Connecticut voters. Also, we talked to the endorsed Republican candidate for Senate, Themis Claridis. Plus, the need for parents to adopt children has never been greater. How to help even if you're not looking to expand your family. Two business leaders have a multi-million-dollar plan to invest in Hartford. And we'll take you to the 100th birthday of a Connecticut trailblazer, former Hartford Mayor Ann Usello. Too old to hold office? Term limits are a hot topic as we watch our elected leaders hit record ages. But should there be a limit?
There seems to be an appetite, or at least we might see it on the campaign trail, an argument to be made that folks are too old to do the job.
Republicans vying for the chance to take on Senator Richard Blumenthal this fall. But the big question, who can pull off a win come November? So for the viewers watching at home, they're saying, how would my life get better if there's a Senator Claridis instead of a Senator Blumenthal? What's your answer? A team effort to revitalize Hartford.
It's the dream. It's what we're trying to do. It's what we're doing.
We'll talk to the men behind a multi-million-dollar investment in your capital city. Our positive vibes celebrating centenarians, including a Connecticut trailblazer. First up on This Week, The Lead. A new poll gave us some insight into how you feel about the races for governor and the U.S. Senate. The poll shows Governor Lamont leading Bob Stefanowski by 13 points and Senator Richard Blumenthal leading Themis Claridis by 10 points. More on those numbers later. One of the questions we asked is about age and what voters think about the ages of politicians. We currently have the oldest president ever, and some of your local officials are also in their 70s and will hit 80 soon.
So help me God.
When Donald Trump was sworn in January of 2017, he was the oldest president ever inaugurated at 70 years old.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden.
4 years later, Joe Biden broke that record. He was 78, and this fall, he turns 80. And he won't be the only octogenarian serving in Washington. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is 82. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley is 88. The oldest senator is Dianne Feinstein, who turns 89 next month. Recently, Feinstein has been the focus of news stories that claim her age is affecting her work. There are questions about her mental fitness, that she can't remember the names of her aides, and at times seems befuddled. South Carolina Senator Strom Thurmond served until he was 100, despite reports his aides were overheard telling him how to vote. There are no age limits for politicians, though judges in Connecticut must retire at 70. Here in our state, the oldest member of the Connecticut delegation is Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, who turns 80 next year. The next oldest is 76-year-old Senator Richard Blumenthal, who would turn 80 in his next term if elected. The Feinstein case and the president's upcoming milestone birthday have people wondering when is too old to serve. That's one of the questions asked of Connecticut voters in the News 8 The Hill Emerson College poll. We traveled to Boston to talk with pollster Spencer Kimball.
Not only are people asking, but nearly 60% of voters think there should be an age cap. And that age cap could be 70, 75, or 80, and we'll dig into that. But I think the main takeaway is that only 40% of people think that they should be allowed to run continuously. And so obviously now we have older candidates in office. There seems to be an appetite, or at least we might see it on the campaign trail, an argument to be made that folks are too old to do the job.
The poll found 60% want an age limit. A third believe the maximum age a politician can serve should be 70, 17% say 75, and only 11% say it should be 80.
So if you're an 80-year-old candidate and you see those numbers, what do you think?
Well, you look at Jim Inhofe over in Oklahoma, and he retired. He saw now Chuck Grassley in Iowa, he's staying in there. Dianne Feinstein out in California, she's staying in there. So there's certainly place for, the statesperson to be in there, but obviously they should be looking over their shoulder because new blood is coming up, and there's an appetite for new blood in the electorate.
In a moment, I'll talk with Senate candidate Themis Claridis about this and her campaign. And a deep dive into the poll is coming up on Capitol Report. Now, Did you know there are hundreds of children in Connecticut who need parents waiting to be adopted or to go into foster care? Here at News 8, we are focusing attention on adoption in the wake of the sudden loss of the two sons of our friend and colleague, Tom Dudchick. Robert and Anthony Dudchick were foster children. They were adopted, and in their memory, we hope to help some deserving kids find forever homes. I sat down with the DCF Commissioner. How many kids roughly are up for adoption right now in our state?
So, the number right now of the number of children under the age of 18 is 2732. So 2,732 children are in foster care.
What are the parents you're looking for? What are you looking for in adoptive parents?
We want people to who are at least 18 years old. You want to have stable income, but that's not necessarily a prerequisite to becoming a foster parent. Foster parents in Connecticut are licensed, and there is a stipend that is associated with that. Another fun fact about us is that we also do subsidized adoptions, in which if there are needs that extend beyond the life of this child or extend as the child gets older, we can do subsidized adoptions. And in Connecticut right now, there are about 7,000 families that are receiving an adoption subsidy because they have kind of come through our care and the child remains in their home. So we support our foster parents very well in this state because we believe in family.
So being a foster parent is sort of a gateway to becoming an adoptive parent?
Not necessarily. We do have foster parents who just foster. They foster for a weekend, for a couple of months, some a couple of years.
I know you're good friends with our friend Tom Dudchick, and you've been on his show many times over the years talking about adoption and fostering, and he said that adopting those two kids made them better parents, made them better people. Mm-hmm. Is that what happens quite often with adoption?
Very often. I think of the reciprocal relationship that children and their parents have, whether they're biological parents or when they're in a foster and adoptive setting. Adoptive parents are special folks. They, open their heart and their homes. The situation with Tom, he was beaming with pride the last time he and I spoke, just, helping the boys find their way. And so that tragedy hit us hard because, we know that this has been a long journey for the Dudchicks and the boys, but they found stability there.
So what's your message today for the people watching?
Connecticut believes in family. Connecticut recognizes that children need families to thrive. And if you are so inclined to really think about whether or not the children that we've been talking about here today would fit within your family, please call 1-888-KID-HERO. We will be sharing information on how to get additional information on foster and adoptive care, but recognizing that children need forever families, even when forever has time limits.
And if you are interested in becoming a foster parent or adopting a child, you can call this number here, 1-888-KID-HERO. We also invite you to support Sun Scholars, Inc. That's an organization near and dear to the Dudchicks and other adoptive families.
He is the Joe Biden of Connecticut, and he is not representing you.
Representative Ritter?
She's made a name for herself as a state lawmaker, but for Themis Claridis, the next step, filling the Senate seat currently held by Richard Blumenthal. Why she says she's the best Republican candidate to do it. This and much more when This Week in Connecticut continues.